The executive's guidance provided the clarity Michael needed. He saw how his contributions fit into the larger strategic framework. Hard work feels like progress at first, but most of the time, it only keeps you exactly where you are. You show up early, stay consistent, and believe effort alone will eventually move your career forward. And at first, it works. People trust you, rely on you, and it feels like real progress is finally happening. But slowly something changes, and you don't notice it, because everything still feels completely normal. The more you deliver, the more work you receive, and your role becomes heavier, not higher. You become the one everyone depends on, always solving problems, always available, always staying in the same place. And people praise you for it, call you reliable, dependable, but that praise slowly becomes the reason you stay exactly where you are. So you keep working harder, believing you're getting closer, while becoming more valuable exactly where you already are. And it feels confusing, because you're doing everything right, but nothing around you is actually changing at all. They call it recognition. Some say you're doing great, but it's not growth, just more responsibility in the same position. Your role keeps expanding. More tasks, more pressure, more expectations, but your position never actually moves forward. And no one questions it, because everything works, and your silence looks like satisfaction instead of someone who wants more. You've become part of the system, something that keeps everything running, and removing you would create problems nobody wants. Because replacing someone like you creates risk, slows everything down, and adds uncertainty that most people prefer to avoid. So instead of moving you forward, they choose stability, keeping everything predictable, even if your growth stays completely frozen. And from your side, it becomes confusing, because you're doing everything right, but nothing around you actually changes. You keep delivering results, solving problems, making things easier, but your position stays exactly the same. And this is where something shifts. You start realizing hard work alone might not be enough anymore. This is where hard work starts to fail, not because it's useless, but because it's incomplete. Hard work is execution, but execution is only one part of the system, not what actually moves you forward. The higher you go, the less execution matters, and the more invisible rules begin to take over. Visibility, perception, timing, narrative. These are the forces that shape your outcomes. Most people ignore these things because they're not taught, and they don't feel as honest as working hard.
But they exist, and they shape decisions far more than effort ever will.
Because promotions don't happen from effort alone. They happen when someone is seen as ready for more.
Being ready is not a metric, it's a story. It's how people talk about you when you're not in the room. It's whether your name comes up when someone asks who can handle something bigger than their current role.
If no one is telling that story about you, your hard work stays invisible, no matter how consistent you are.
People don't ignore you. They just have no reason to see you beyond the role you already perform every day.
You show consistency and stability, but not expansion, and that shapes how people imagine your future inside the system. And over time, that consistency becomes predictability, and predictability quietly keeps you exactly where you are.
Predictable people are easy to keep. Nothing breaks, nothing changes, and no one feels pressure to move you. There's no urgency to promote you, no pressure to move you, and no fear that you might leave. The real currency in most organizations is not effort, not loyalty, but risk.
And when they believe you will stay no matter what, you lose leverage, and your hard work becomes background noise.
That's why you see others who seem less capable, moving faster than you, and it feels unfair at first. But they are not playing the same game. They understand the system differently, and that changes everything. They don't just do the work, they position themselves, making sure others see them as something more.
They communicate their impact clearly, so people understand not just what they do, but what they can become. They don't wait quietly, and they create pressure, so people begin to think about them differently.
They talk about what they want, clearly and directly, instead of waiting for someone to finally notice their effort. They make their goals visible, connecting their work to bigger outcomes, so others start associating them with future opportunities.
They build relationships beyond their role, expanding how many people know them and how many people influence their future.
They make sure their work is seen in the right places, not constantly, but enough to slowly shift perception. And once perception begins to shift, everything changes, even before your role actually does. People stop seeing you as just a worker and begin seeing you as someone who belongs at the next level. They begin preparing for your movement, opening conversations, and creating opportunities before anything becomes official. And most importantly, they begin taking risks on you because now they believe you can handle more. Hard work alone never creates that shift. It only makes you better at what you already do. When you get too good at your job, you slowly stop growing without even realizing it. It feels like growth, but it's just repetition happening faster, not real progress towards something new.
The next level requires different skills, not more of the same ones you're already using every day.
So you become excellent at your role, but not prepared for what comes next. You're playing one game while the system rewards a different one, and that gap keeps growing.
Hard work gives you stability, respect, and security, but it does not move you forward.
And if you don't understand that, you can spend years doing everything right and still end up exactly where you started.
And that realization usually comes later than you expect.
When you finally see it, you can't unsee it.
And everything you thought was progress starts to look different.
That's when you finally understand. Hard work was never enough on its own.